The question of what it means to be good is, well, it's as old as humanity itself. But what happens when that ancient question gets all tangled up with things like artificial intelligence and a world that seems to change by the second? That's what we're diving into today, a modern look at the very architecture of morality. I mean, just think about our world today. It's all smart gadgets, AI is everywhere, and our culture is just constantly in motion. All this rapid change makes those old moral questions feel brand new and honestly pretty urgent. What does it actually mean to do the good thing when a single action can ripple out in such complex, technology-driven ways? So you can see why just, dusting off the old definitions isn't going to cut it anymore. To really navigate this new landscape, we need a better blueprint, a different way of looking at things. So today, we're going to explore a new framework for understanding the very architecture of what it means to be good. Okay, so this brings us to the core idea we're going to unpack today. It's a concept called the functional good, and it's a really pragmatic way to start thinking about ethics in the super complicated world we live in. So, what is morality in this way of thinking? Well, it's not really defined by some abstract, lofty ideal. It's defined by actions and the results. The two big phrases to grab onto here are functionality and as beneficial as possible for all parties. Basically, it's about what works, not just for one person, but for everyone and even everything involved. So when we say all parties involved, who are we actually talking about? Well, this framework breaks it down into three pieces that are all connected. For something to be truly good, it has to work out well for you, the individual, for other people in society, which is a concept called alterity, and for the environment that we all have to share. It's a whole system, all linked together. Okay, but wait a second. This leads to a pretty big question, right? If morality is all about what's functional, does that mean anything that works is automatically good? I mean, a guided missile works, a computer virus works. Are they good? And this slide, wow, it just perfectly lays out the difference. On the left, you've got what we can call mere functionality. An atomic bomb is a terrifyingly perfect example. It is incredibly functional, it does exactly what it was designed to do, but its benefit is so narrow, serving maybe one single group while causing just catastrophic harm to the other layers. But on the right, you have the functional good. A clean water system is also functional, but its benefits ripple outward, helping individuals, the whole community, and the environment. That is the crucial difference. All right, so if that's the goal, this functional good, how do we even begin to build it? Well, this framework suggests it's constructed on three fundamental layers of laws, almost like an architectural blueprint for reality itself. The whole thing is built on these three layers. We start at the very bottom with the physical laws of the universe itself. Then we move up to the natural, biological laws of life. And finally, we get to the top layer, the artificial laws created by us, by human society. Each layer adds a whole new dimension to this moral picture. And what's really cool is how each layer builds on the last one, adding a whole new level of complexity. At the very base, you have physical laws. They just make existence possible, which is a pretty good start, so we see it as positive. Then the natural laws of biology bring in things like will, intention, and action, the engine of life. And then at the very top, we have that artificial layer, our messy, complicated world of society, technology, power, and ideas. So, as you can probably guess, the higher we climb this ladder, from the basic laws of physics all the way up to our human-made world, the trickier the moral questions become. It's really in this top, human-created layer where things get incredibly complicated and where the potential for both incredible good and terrible evil just explodes. To really bring this home, the source material uses this fantastic, super simple analogy to show how this complexity actually works. It's called the paradox of the stone. Think about it. On that first, most basic level, the physical world, a stone is, well, it's just a stone. That's it. It exists. It's totally neutral. It isn't good. It isn't evil. It just is. But now, let's take that same neutral rock and drop it into our complicated, artificial human world. All of a sudden, it can become a tool for good. It can be part of the foundation for a home that shelters a family, a tool an artist uses to create something beautiful, or a building block for a well that gives a whole community life-saving water. But, of course, there's a flip side, isn't there? That exact same stone in that exact same human world can become an instrument for evil. It can be used as a weapon to hurt someone, a projectile to smash and destroy property, or part of a wall to block people from a resource they need. And that's the whole point right there. The object itself, totally neutral. It's the human complexity, our intentions, our actions, our societies, our technologies that gives that neutral object its moral weight, for better or for worse. And this all leads to this really mind-bending paradox. The more complex our world gets, the harder it is to point at one thing and say, that's purely good or that's purely evil. That's what ambiguous in position means. But at the very same time, the impact, the presence of good and evil actions becomes way, way clearer. We feel their consequences much more powerfully. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. Try looking at the world through this lens for a day. Where do you see simple, neutral things, maybe a piece of software or an idea, or even something as simple as a stone, suddenly taking on this huge, complex moral weight? It's a question really worth thinking about. Thanks for joining this explainer.